on this computer. I'm going to upload this to YouTube later because I think it's going to be a little bit too confusing. I've reached my limit of how many things I can multitask on this morning, right? It takes a lot for me to get there, but I've reached my limit on what I'm going to do this morning. But I want to first of all say good morning and welcome. Hey, it's my birthday. Actually, yesterday was my birthday. I turned 50 yesterday. And because I am enthusiastically self-employed and I work from home, I don't get the opportunity to celebrate with my coworkers. And I've told this all of you guys before, when you're unemployed and in career transition or self-employed for that matter, you might miss being part of a team, right? And this is one of the things I actually miss. Like if I was in the office and working with a team, we would probably celebrate together. So today we're all going to celebrate virtually. My family got me some fun balloons. You can see them behind me here. My son got me a little happy birthday crown. My bling jacket is from New Orleans. I went there with some friends earlier this year or last year. Now I can't remember. But we went there a few weeks after Mardi Gras when these jackets are like super, super cheap. And I'm like, I can't not get a jacket with bling on it, right? And I borrowed my daughter. She just turned 13. It's just 13 and fabulous. By the end of the call, I'll probably have 50 and fabulous on a Post-it note in there. But I want to welcome all of you and thank you so much for joining us here today. And we're going to have a lot of fun. Let me just remove my spotlight here. My laptop's going, oh, I don't think my mouse is working. That's probably what it is. Okay, remove the spotlight from here. Follow the host order. There we go. And I need to put it into gallery mode. Okay, I'm going to ask the All-Stars if you could please use the raise hand feature, because that will help me to pull each of you up and introduce yourselves. While you are doing that, I want to welcome all of the individuals who are joining us, whether they're in person here today. We have Christopher and Jen here in the room with us. And I've got a second camera on, so if you both wave, I think they'll be able to see you in there. And we have many people that are helping us out with the meeting here today, too. They are what I call All-Stars. These are people who help support job seekers like you. They're going to help us with questions here today. So I will start us off by asking Christopher Johnson, if you could please introduce yourself. I'm going to make you a co-host and I'm going to spotlight you and you can start us off. And then I will pull up two people on screen at a time from the All-Stars and just pass it over to the next person after you're done.
Good morning and welcome to VIP Office Hours for September. So this is a housekeeping session. Feel free to use the chat to interact, but put your questions, if you have a question, start it with question in all caps, followed by your question. Now, if captions would help you get a better experience from the session, the CC button should be located right there, and you can say view full transcript or turn on captions, and that will be of aid to you. For your name, you need to show up how you want to show up. So you can rename yourself by clicking on the right corner of your video and selecting rename if you're on a Mac or PC. If you're on a mobile device, click on participants and then choose your name and then rename. And for those calling in without video, you can mute and unmute by pressing *6 or raise or lower your hand by pressing *9. Now, I'll hand it back to Brenda. Oh, to Mindy.
I think you're passing to me. Thanks, Christopher.
I am.
Good morning, everyone. So thrilled to be here. I'm wearing my pink cowboy hat in honor of Brenda's birthday. Yay, happy birthday, Brenda. And thanks for sharing that with us. Love being at a birthday party early in the morning. What I do is I help people learn and grow. Basically, that's it. We need to know what we're doing when we're in a job search, and you don't need to be alone. We're here to help you. We have so many people that are knowledgeable and have been there, done that. I was laid off. I know Brenda was. There's so many people here who have actually had that experience, and we have learned what needs to be done. And so don't feel like you're alone. You're in a beautiful community. And one of the things that I love to do is I love to share smart folks with you guys. And so every single month we have a speaker that will come to speak to you free on Zoom. This month, I'm sorry, September 10th, Liam Darmody is going to be talking about personal branding. And he's the one to hear that from. So if you have questions about, is your personal brand doing it for you? Are you differentiating yourself? How to differentiate yourself? What should you be posting? Any of those questions, I'm going to put the link to that event in the chat so you can join. I think we're at about 80 participants now. I can only get to 100. So please sign up as soon as you can. So you can, that's this Tuesday coming up at 11 Eastern. In the future, we have Paul is going to be speaking. Ken has spoken in the past. Joey has spoken in the past. Brenda's coming up in December. Linda's coming up. So we have so many great people, and we certainly hope that you will join us. I'm going to pass this over to Paul, I think is next after me, and hope to see you soon.
Thanks, Mindy, and good morning, everybody. And if you don't follow Mindy, you should. She's putting out some really great content on LinkedIn. So my name's Paul Sakala. I'm known as the Project Planning Career Coach. I'm not just a coach, but I'm also an author on the job search process and a corporate trainer. My specialty is helping you figure out how to get started and how to keep going in your job search. I'm an expert in networking. I'm an expert in resume writing. I'm an expert in interviewing. But more than that, especially if you look at my book, Take Control of Your Job Search, which I just published, that will give you 20 worksheets on how to get started in your job search, from what do I want to be when I grow up, all the way through to how do I ace the interview. And if you need help with any of those things, that's what I'm here for. The one other thing I do want to mention is that one of the things I love about this group is that it gives you an opportunity to ask your questions and learn from so many other people. And I run several groups like that as well. But rather than having a group of experts like us do the talking, everybody on the call shares their best practices with each other. And so if you're interested in participating in a group like that, please reach out to me and I'll be happy to get you connected. And I'm putting my contact information into the chat right now. Thank you. Ken, tag.
Thanks a lot, Paul. Great to see you here and in person, for sure. Another New Jerseyer. Kenneth Lang, I work for Lee Harrison as a brand specialist. It's a labor of love for me to pay it forward. It's very depressing when I hear some of the stories, but I want to do whatever I can to let people know that you're not alone. And I am wearing my Giants jersey today. Many of you know I'm a Giants fan. Looking forward to another season. We start out the same way as everyone else. So we're going to be in first place like everyone else. Have season tickets. So I'm really excited about that with the weather coming up. I also, like a lot of other people, run different support groups here. This coming Monday, I'm having an in-person group in Wayne, New Jersey, and we're going to do it as a hybrid. I do an events post every single week, so check that out. It's great to see so many of you here today. I'm going to put my information in the chat as well. Thank you so much, Brenda. A big, happy, special birthday. We're not going to mention the number because that's not the thing to do, but it's an amazing day. You have an amazing group here, and you've done so much to bring us all together. So I am also now not an introvert anymore. I'm an introvert no more, which is a big part of it. I'm still an introvert to some extent, but not to the extent that I was before. But Joey, you are the real extrovert here. You are, you kind of tell it like it is. And so I kind of have to make sure that I'm kind of in check that way. So Kenneth Lang, passing it on to Joey.
Thanks, Ken. Appreciate it. Good morning, all. I'm Joey Himmelfarb. I am an author and speaker. I talk about helping people sell themselves in the marketplace as they're looking for work. As a retired account manager / salesperson, I've taken what I've learned about selling and transferred it to the world of job seekers. And the book that I wrote deals with that. And I'm on these calls to support you and help you. And if I hear you going down a negative path, I'll do my best to bring you back. My mantra is positive beats negative every day. If you're looking for work, you need to be only positive. So I'm going to pass it over to Linda.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Linda Brubaker, and like everybody else here, I'm a career coach. My specialty is that I help you to discover and highlight the transferable skills that you have for your next forever job. Now, most of us here, or most of you here, are in career transition, and I don't believe in forever jobs anymore. But I think it's important for you to find your next forever job, to take over whatever control you can, and to hire your next boss. And that's where all of these groups, all of us, the experts, Brenda, we're here to help you do all of that, to support you along your journey. I'm coming here with over 20 years of experience as a recruiter, a headhunter, an HR business partner, and hiring manager, and I've been a job search coach for 7 years. So pulling all of this information together to support you is what we do. Now, I also host a group, and I host a job search lunch and learn every Wednesday at 11 o'clock Central Time. Think about joining us. I'm going to put that information in the chat. It's a free resource. It's, again, support, tips, tricks, and a lot of resources for you. In fact, on September 18th, mark your calendars, Mark Anthony Dyson, who is the job scam expert, is going to be joining us at Lunch and Learn, and he's going to be talking to us about how to recognize and avoid some of those job scams and fake jobs. So I'm going to put that information in the chat as well. Let me know how I can help. Turning it over to Brenda.
You're on mute.
One minute. Okay, can you hear me now? Thumbs up. Okay, thank you. I was muting myself while Christopher was talking, and I give him a lot of credit because if it was me talking and you hear yourself with like a half a second delay, it's really distracting. And he didn't seem like it was facing him at all. So he did brilliant with that. He's here in the room and he's helping navigate people up on stage as well and helping me to mute and unmute people. Hey, and look at that. We got to over 50 people. We're at 55. And I'm not sure if more people were joining or if you all saw my note inside the chat, but it was like 49 participants. And I said, well, I am celebrating my 50th birthday today. I want to help at least 50 job seekers today. And you made that goal possible. If you are interested in sharing the link with anyone, please do so. They can bypass registration and just give them the Zoom link to join the call today at any point in time. So I want everyone on the call right now to think about, do you know anyone who is in career transition, unemployed, laid off, maybe underemployed, anything like that that might benefit from this call? We'll be on for another 45 minutes. So if you do, I want you to invite them. Go onto LinkedIn, text them, email them, whatever, and just invite them out because I don't want anyone to feel like they are alone when they're in career transition. And I want to tell a little bit of the backstory of these office hours as we're getting started here. I actually started these in the pandemic. It was back in, I think it was like April or May of 2020, when we all realized it wasn't going to be 2 more weeks. It was going to be a lot longer than that. And companies started going, oh crap, we're going to have to lay off and cut staff. So they started letting people go. And the first one that happened to was somebody that I was working with my husband. And I said, this is going to happen. So I started realizing my business was going to be impacted. And I'm like, I want to keep visible. I want to help other people. So I decided I'm going to start to do some LinkedIn for job seeker webinars. I'm going to do an office hours. And we were meeting weekly. I think it was weekly, wasn't it? For like the longest time. And then things started to get better. It was like all of a sudden one day the pandemic didn't exist. Isn't that weird? Like we all shut down. We all remember that week, right? March 14th. I remember it because it was Pi Day. But it was like right around March 14th was when things shut down. But when things opened back up, it wasn't like all of a sudden it's done. It was like a gradual thing, right? So we decided to move it to monthly. And now we meet on the first Friday of every month from 10 to 11 a.m. Eastern time. And this is a place, I call this VIP Job Seeker Office Hours. And let me break that down for you. VIP means that you are a very important person. And I want you to know that you are important regardless if you're working or not. You have value that you're going to add to another organization. And you are just in between successes right now. The analogy I like to use is think of an Oreo cookie. You got the cookie on the one side, you got the cookie on the other side, and you got the frosting in the middle. The frosting is what you are, my friend. You are in between successes. That's just where you are right now because you came from a job. You're going to be finding another job someday. So you are a VIP in my book. I had someone once ask me, they said, well, I'm not a VP. Can I come to your call? And I said, yes, it's not a VP office hours. It's a VIP, a very important person. So I welcome everyone to come in here. Friday, because we used to meet every Friday, but obviously now it's the first Friday of the month, which will help you to remember the time and date of the call. And do keep in mind, it's the same Zoom link that we join every Friday. Now, typically the calls are just on Zoom only, and they're also broadcast to YouTube live. Today I'm recording it. I'm going to upload it to YouTube a little bit later because we're doing an in-person and a virtual, and I just had too much stuff going this morning. So I'm going to do the recording and it will be up on YouTube later. So the good thing is you can watch the playbacks and you can actually watch, like binge watch them. You'll get some really great tips to help to support your job search by doing so. All the all-stars that you just heard from, they're going to be helping out with questions in just a little bit here. And we're going to be moving on to that in a moment. But I want you to think about this as like office hours. This would be like if we were in the office, I'm kind of sitting in my chair. I've got my friend Jen with me. I've got my friend Christopher, and Mindy comes by and she knocks on the door and she's like, I have a question. And we're like, come on in, Mindy. What's your question? So I want you to think about this is your opportunity as a job seeker to ask questions as they are related to your job search. If you're feeling stuck, let us know and let's do some groupthink and help you out. Okay. I'm going to move next into introducing or allowing a few of the newbies to introduce themselves. So I'm going to call on you if you're new, but do go into chat, type in the word new, and then use the raise hand just like Christine and Scott have done. And I'm going to call on you in just one moment and I'll let you to introduce yourself and I'll give you instructions on what we're looking for in that introduction. Before I do so, I just want to quickly say good morning and hi to all of you. I'm going to look through the attendee list. We're up to 55 right now. So good morning and welcome to Christine, Scott, Joey, Christopher, Kenneth, Linda, Kenneth, Linda, Mindy, Paul, Andre, Austin, Brooke, David, nice to see you, David B and David M and David S. We got 3 Davids in the house today. We have Debbie and Debbie L. Good morning, ladies. Diane, Dinio, Eileen, Elena, Esmeralda, Jen. We got 2 Jens in the house today. Jill and Joan, welcome to both of you. Joyce, Julie, nice to see you again. Karen, Katie, Lisa, Marcy, Melissa, Michelle, Mike. We got 2 Mike M's joining us here today. Nice to see both of you. Miss G joining us from England. Nancy, we've got Dr. Anyoko joining us today. Pat, Ray, Scott. I apologize if I said your name wrong, by the way. Let's see, Scott, Simone, Stacy, Stan, and I'm just scrolling down here. Susan, Tamara, Tammy. Did I say that right, Tamara? I hope I did. Tom, Tracy, Trisha, Victor, and Yvonne. I want to say good morning and welcome to all of you. I know that you may not be happy that you're here because if you're here, you're still in career transition. I always tell people I'm happy to not see you here because maybe that means you're interviewing or back to work. But I want to let you know this is your team. This is the people that you can lean on and will support you going throughout your job search. So look around the room, look around the Zoom panel right now. This is your team. Remember when you were a part of a team as a part of the office? And it's kind of a weird thing, isn't it? Like one day you're a part of the team and you're all helping each other out. You're staying late, you're texting on weekends, you're doing what you need to do to help the team. And then you get that awkward conversation with HR. They tap you on the shoulder and they bring you into an office or on a Zoom call or a text message or an email. And they said, hey, you're no longer part of the team because we're doing some layoffs, the company's struggling or whatever the reasons are, right? And, you know, the weird thing that happens is all of a sudden, the people that you thought were your friends, your team, sometimes they don't reach out to you. And you're like, what happened? Joey was my bud yesterday, and now Joey's not calling me anymore. And then Kenneth, who worked down the hall, he wasn't that close to me, but he's texting me and he's saying, do you need anything? I'm here for you. And like, it kind of surprised me, you know, when I was in career transition, that feeling of, wait a minute, we had each other's backs yesterday and now we don't. Like that feels a little bit odd. So I want to let you know they're all going through probably a little survivor's guilt. You know, they didn't go through the layoff and they don't know what to think on things. So it's not you, it's them. That's on them. But in the meantime, this is your team. This is your tribe, if you will. So I really want to encourage you to connect with each other. And by the way, if you do see someone on the call, you're like, hey, David Mills, we haven't seen him in a while. Like, message him on LinkedIn or email him. Hey, David, how's your job search going? Right? This is a little bit of accountability and support for all of you, but it's not just me. I'm just the leader of this, guys. I just bring this thing together. It's really all of you that make the magic happen. Okay? And we are here for you until you are back to work. You can use the Zoom link. If you need to re-register, feel free, or message me at any point in time if you need instructions on that. But I really want to encourage you to come on out and join us every first Friday of the month. My goal is that you will leave the call feeling inspired and having some new insights. Maybe get your questions answered if you have any as well. All right, so with that said, we're going to do some introductions. We've got a couple of new people. We're going to do 3 introductions, and then we'll move into questions, okay? So what we're going to do, I'm going to have Scott go first, then Christine, and then Brooke. We're going to do those 3 individuals, and I'm going to have you unmute yourself, and if you could, tell us your name, your targeted job title, and your targeted geographic area, and then also, how did you hear about these calls? So Scott, go ahead. The floor is yours.
Good morning, everybody. So my name is Scott Mazer. It is spelled with 1 T. That isn't a misspelling. So it's not that early in the morning. I don't remember how I found out about this call, to be quite honest. I am a member of, I think, about 9 different groups that meet over the course of either monthly or weekly. I host a group of my own through SHRM Chicago chapter. So I honestly don't remember. I am in the Chicagoland area. I'm looking to stay in the Chicagoland area from a job standpoint, and I'm primarily looking for 2 different types of roles. One, I have a business development background. Although I started out in recruiting, I've sold recruiting and staffing services, and I'm seeking some opportunities that would be selling other HR or HR related services as a producer or manager role. The other area that I'm focusing on is the career centers within colleges and universities, again, locally. I've got about 12 years sort of informally coaching and helping people in transition as well. So I have a number of things that I can bring to the table there too. So that's me in a nutshell. Happy to connect and make introductions and do anything I can help everybody as well.
All right, thank you. And Scott, I'm just curious, I have to ask the question. Have you ever thought about being self-employed, doing your own business instead of going back?
I have.
I'm putting you on the spot. We're going to talk some other time later. I feel like, did anyone else sense that when he was talking? I was like, he could build a business for himself. And I had no intention of doing what I am doing, being self-employed right now, until I was doing it. And then I realized I could do it into a business. So Scott, we'll talk later. If you don't mind, I'll reach out to you and we can talk a little bit more about that. But thank you so much for being here and for joining us here. Okay, so we're going to bring on Christine. Can I spotlight her? Can you help me with that, Christopher? Okay, remove spotlight. There we go. Okay. I don't know, can we spotlight if they don't have video on? Okay, thank you. So Christopher just answered a question. New thing for me. So Christine, are you able to unmute yourself and introduce yourself? If you could, tell us your name, your targeted job title, targeted geographic area. If you're not able to, I'll give you just a second longer here. If you're not able to, we'll move on to Brooke next. Going once, twice, and she might be driving or she might not be available to speak. All right, we'll move on to Brooke. So Christopher, if you could help me to spotlight Brooke. We'll bring her onto the screen. And then Brooke, if you could unmute yourself. Yep. There we go. Good morning, Brooke. So if you can, tell us your name, targeted job title, targeted geographic area, and how did you hear about these calls?
So my name is Brooke Reed. I live in the Seattle area. I am targeting the Pacific Northwest Seattle area. I'm looking as far as north as the Canadian border. It's only about an hour and a half away. Down to around SeaTac Airport as far south as I would go. My job titles, I'm looking for program manager, director, anything from manager through director of operations, program management, or specific kinds of engineering. I'm a materials engineer, so I'm one of those people who couldn't decide if I wanted to do physics or chemistry when I was in school. So I decided to do both. And ironically, I've done most of my career as in electrical engineering. So it's an interesting job. I found out, pretty sure I saw it on my feed, in my LinkedIn feed. Excuse me, I'm sitting outside.
I was going to say,
and I keep looking over my shoulder because there's a deer.
Oh, okay. I was thinking Seattle, you're early in the day. Is it like 7:28 a.m. there?
It is.
Hold up your mug again. Brooke, what does your mug
Oh,
say? I love, what is it? The smell of rocket
rocket
fuel in the
fuel
morning?
in the morning.
Oh, how fun. So
Yeah,
I'm going to
I'm
show you my mug. I told you I was going to retrofit it. My daughter turned 13 and somebody got her this, but I retrofitted mine because I am 50 and fabulous. And I'm a big believer in statement mugs, statement shirts, all that other kind of stuff. So a lot of fun, Brooke. Well, we're glad that you found us. And thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks.
All right, great. Okay, so we're going to move into questions now. And I want to remind you all, this is your time is office hours to ask questions that are related to your job search. If you're feeling stuck in some area, if you need some additional support, raise your hand, but do make sure that you type into to chat your questions. Type in the word question in all caps and then type out the full question. That way, if we're not able to get to you today, there will be people that can respond to you inside of chat here. And because we only have 30 minutes left, I'm going to keep things moving along. So you might hear me jump in and say, is it okay if we move that offline if there's any, if we seem to be going a little bit long? If that's okay with all of you, I'm asking kind of permission to do that, but I'm going to do it anyways because it's my call. I'm hosting it. We're going to keep this moving along here. All right. So I'm looking to see if there's any questions that are coming inside chat. So Michelle has a question. Michelle Evans. Michelle is asking, could you please remind me what to put for job end date on LinkedIn? Michelle, first of all, good morning and welcome. We're so glad to have you on the call here today. If you wouldn't mind sharing, Michelle, how long have you been in career transition right now?
Good morning. It's been a while since I've been on a call. I haven't been able to make it. So actually today is my last day at my job, and not the ideal situation, but I ended it without having anything lined up, right? It was just for my mental health. So my question is on LinkedIn. I think I remember you saying not to put the exact month or something like that.
Yep.
And so I was just trying to figure out how I should be doing this.
Yep. Great question. Thank you, Michelle. And thank you for asking, because there might be other people on the call wondering the same thing or not aware of the issue, which is LinkedIn prefers that you have your full profile fully filled out, including a current position. So what they will say, if you don't have a current position, you might notice it say, fill out your position, or at a current position, and you'll come up in more searches. Like people with, I don't know if it's a current role, they have 4 times more likely to come up in searches or something. I don't know what the language is, but basically the way to read that from the algorithm perspective is you're being penalized in the algorithm if you put an end date on your employer and you don't have a current job in your experience section. So what I'm going to advise for you, Michelle, and for everyone else, if you are currently in career transition and you have not put an end date on your employer yet, I would recommend, I'm going to give you 2 potential paths in here. One is don't put an end date, leave it open. And I will share with you, I work with many executives, hundreds and probably thousands of people over the year who are in career transition that do this technique, which is don't put an end date until you add your next role. And if you want to, you could go into the description for that current/past employer and just put everything in the past tense. Now, if you get asked by an employer in a job interview, Linda, are you still with XYZ company? And Linda's actually left. Linda would just say, no, I actually, we parted ways in August, but I know due to the LinkedIn algorithm, it's better to have a current position on your profile. So I'm not planning on making that change until I secure my next position, which, by the way, I'm hoping to work with you, employer, right? So you could do that. Just explain it. And some people even will say, I just haven't gotten around to it yet. If you feel like you don't want to, be misleading people, you can say, I feel like I haven't gotten around to it yet. And I will. If it's been a significant amount of time, I would say a year or more that you've been in career transition and you haven't put an end date, then you might want to move into the second category, which is let's add something in your experience section. And you might say, well, Brenda, I'm not working. That's why I don't have a current role. What I'm going to encourage you to do is think about, do you belong to any professional organizations? If so, you could put member of the American Marketing Association in your experience section. Now, it's not a paid role, but it is a way of demonstrating to people how you are staying active within the professional community. You might even be volunteering your time and helping out at meetings or helping fellow members. So you're working pro bono is what you're doing here, right? And we can take some liberties on this. LinkedIn is not a legally binding document. LinkedIn is a marketing tool to support you and your job search. So if you're filling out a job application and they say list all of your past employers, you wouldn't put member of American Marketing Association in there, right? You would just put your roles that you held. But LinkedIn is a marketing tool. And I want you to think about using this marketing tool to help to support you in getting more people to view your profile. If you do not have a current employer, you're going to be penalized. You're not coming up in as many search results. So I would put in there some type of a professional organization would be one. Another could be if you volunteer your time. I might say volunteer for Grosse Pointe Animal Adoption Society. I'm making it up. You guys know I love Pepper, my dog, right? Or maybe you serve on a board, whether it's paid or unpaid, board member of XYZ organization. So there's a couple different ways of doing it. Or maybe like me, you dabble in doing some consulting work. People are coming to you and saying, hey, Brenda, since you have some time, can you help me with LinkedIn? Can you help me with marketing? Can you do social media on the side? And you just start a little bit of a side hustle. You could create a company page, which is what I did, Meller Marketing. And then in the description block for that employer, you say, while I'm looking for my next full-time position as a marketing leader in Metro Detroit, I'm staying active by providing part-time and project work to clients through Meller Marketing. Did you see what I just did there? I'm explaining to potential recruiters, this is just a temporary point for me right now. And by the way, I'm in demand. Like people are coming and approaching and asking me for their help. So it's a nice way of doing that. Now, let's say you like the consulting thing, you know, the company page thing, but you're not actually doing anything. That's okay, because my guess is if Paul has expertise in helping people with career transition, people are coming to Paul and asking him questions, even if Paul is not being paid for that. You know what that's called? Pro bono. Paul is working pro bono. Paul is giving expertise from his area of expertise. So people might be asking you questions, even if they're not paying you for it. I'm using my marketing liberties here, and I'm saying you can put that in your experience section. This is just a placeholder. People aren't going to dig too deep and say, wait, are you really getting paid? Is this a real? They're not going to care. You just explain to them that you know that there's a penalty on LinkedIn without having a current employer. So you created that to help you to come up in more search results so that you can be matched with your ideal next job, right? So that's what I would do. Does that help you out, Michelle?
Yeah, so just to piggyback on that, I've also seen something, it was probably on LinkedIn, that someone had mentioned something about putting like career break or something like that.
Yeah.
I hope not to be, unemployed, for too long, to make that year. But I was just curious what your thoughts are about something like that.
Great. I have a thought from the algorithm perspective, but do any of the other all-stars on the call, Kenneth, Linda, Mindy, Joey, do you have any perspectives on putting career break on there? Please feel free to raise your hand. I don't want this to be me talking only the whole time. All right, Linda, what would you like to offer there?
So if the career break was earlier in your career, go ahead and add it and use the LinkedIn dropdown. That's fine. But if it's your current break, I probably wouldn't do that. In addition to the kinds of resources that Brenda mentioned, there are also some placeholder companies on LinkedIn. So if you check out some of the company pages, in fact, Brenda, I think you were the one who initially introduced me to that and the rest of us. So you put in, for example, career transition software, you put in looking for opportunities software, whatever it is, you may find some of those placeholder companies. They're not necessarily real companies, but it still gives you the way of doing that. And LinkedIn's algorithm will still value that. So I would do that as well. But one additional caveat. So LinkedIn and your resume are two different things. So on your resume, you are going to have to own the fact that you have ended your job, especially you can wait 3 months. I probably wouldn't go much longer than that. After that, it looks as though you are being deceptive. So resume versus LinkedIn.
Yes, thank you.
All right, thank you so much
Thank
for that,
you.
Linda. I'm trying to find the blog. I don't have my VA Carol helping out right now, so she's not on the call. I think it's, if you go to mellermarketing.com/blog, if anyone wants to find it, I think I have it listed there. If not, it's under my LinkedIn articles and it says open to work, use this instead in your employer section. So I'll see if I can dig around. If not, I'll put it in the playback for there. But to piggyback on what Linda said, you can link to a company page that and the page name would be called open to work. So you would go into your experience section, add a new role, turn off notify network because you don't want people congratulating you on being open to work or looking for a new role. Not that there's anything wrong with that or celebrating, but that's not the point. You really want to, get them congratulating you when you're back to work. So you would add a new role in your experience section. In the company name field, there are probably a dozen or so of these different company pages that people have created. Look for open to work, seeking new opportunities. There's a couple different pages that you could link to. So that's the company name. And then in the job title field, that is your targeted job title. So you would put director of marketing or project manager, whatever those roles are. By putting the job title in there, that actually helps you to come up in more searches by recruiters. So thank you for that, Linda. Mindy, did you want to add something onto that?
Yes, just briefly, Michelle, I am not in favor of doing that career break thing. And just looking at your profile, you have lots of experience that you could bundle under a company. And you even have a company. You had Michelle Evans, in 2010 to 17. So you can build off of that and add the skills that you used at your EAP job and just talk about the things that you could do as a consultant. I think that for you personally, I'm looking at your experience. You have a ton of experience that you could share with other people. And so creating a company page would be so simple to do. And I'm happy to show you, or any of us probably can show you how to do that and just go that route because you have a lot of experience and that will show people what your experience is, what your expertise could be.
Okay, thank you.
My humble opinion.
No, these are all great. Thank you, everyone.
Great, wonderful.
I'm sorry,
Thank you
can I
so
ask
much,
a follow-up
Michelle.
question to Mindy's statement there?
Yeah, who is that
This is
speaking, please?
Tricia.
Could you say your name?
This is Tricia Scarsha King. I'm sorry, Mindy, would you mind just commenting a little bit further about that career page idea? Because I think that might be something that I might be interested in doing or learning, but I'm not necessarily sure I want to start my own business. Can you speak to like that aspect of it?
Sure, Trisha, I'm just gonna go to your, what's your last name, Trisha?
Scarsha King, it's SCARCIA-King.
If you don't mind, Mindy, I'll let you search for that. We're going to take another question and then we'll come back to that, Trisha. Is that okay with
Thank
both
you.
of you?
Yeah, thank you. I
Okay.
appreciate you letting me jump in.
Yeah, no problem at all. And I'll remind our audience here, we're on for 20 more minutes. This is your time. I don't want you to feel bad. Like I've asked a lot of questions before. I don't want to ask another question today. Like raise your hand and ask a question. Alternatively, if you don't have a specific question, but maybe you'd like some feedback on your profile to support your job search, raise your hand and use the raise hand function in Zoom, raise your hand and we'll give you some pointers on your profile to support your job search. Okay. Susan, I see that you have raised your hand. Could you please unmute yourself? I'm guessing you need some pointers on your profile, but if you could please unmute yourself. And Susan, to start us off, tell us your name, your targeted job title, and your targeted geographic area.
Hi, I actually from New York, and my target location is in New York. And I actually making a change in transition to hospitality and HR, but I'm also in an HR field in the senior healthcare center, where
Okay.
I'm also trilingual. Trilingual. I speak Cantonese and Mandarin and English.
Okay, so I'm going to pull up your profile. So are you looking for some pointers on your profile here today, Susan? Is that correct?
Yes, I just
Okay,
want to
great.
see.
So first thing I'm seeing is in your headline, and I'll ask the All-Stars, please raise your hand if you'd like to give any pointers to Susan based on her profile. When I'm looking at your profile, Susan, the first thing I'm noticing is in your headline, you have human resources generalist, the pipe symbol, talent acquisition, onboarding. So this is a LinkedIn, I don't know if it's an abnormality or what you want to call it here, but it's one of the rules of the algorithm. When we use symbols like pipe marks or slash marks or things like that, you always want to use a space before and after. Otherwise, that word will not come up in searches on LinkedIn because LinkedIn reads this word not as generalist pipe. It reads it as generalist with a character attached to the end of it. So really think about generalist as being crossed out of search results. Okay, so when people are searching for you, you want to make sure that you have at least one targeted job title in your headline field. The headline field is actually one of the fields that gets ranked really high with searches. So you want to make sure that a job, like both the category, which would be human resources, and then the job title level generalist are in your headline. But Susan, you need to go into your headline and you need to add a space before, actually between the T and the pipe symbol. Does that make sense, Susan? You know what I mean?
Yes.
Okay. So human resource generalist, is that a job that you're applying for right now? Is that your targeted job title?
Yes, I am.
Okay, good. Okay, so that's my tip for you. I'm going to turn it over to Mindy next and see, Mindy, what tips do you have for Susan?
Okay. Hey, Susan, how you doing?
Fine.
Good.
Fine.
Good. So a couple of tips. Number one, that headline that we're looking at right now, you have 220 characters that you can use in that section, and I recommend using every single one of them. This is a great place to put your keywords, and you have some of them here, but you have a lot more space. So I would certainly recommend doing that to add up to 220. And the other thing is take a look at your skills, Susan, because I'm looking at your profile right now and you have only 52 skills right now. We can go up to 100 skills and you want to be matching your skills to the job postings that you're interested in. So you get to add another 48 more skills that people could find you for.
Mindy, could I ask a question? Because it used to be 50, and I used to hear that if you want to come up in more search results, use all 50. Now that they've moved the line to 100, I'm still telling people 50. I've not heard any rules in the algorithm that says if you have 100 skills, you'll come up in more searches than people with 50 skills. Have you heard anything?
So this is where I'm coming from. When you look at a job posting, the job postings all tell us the top 10 skills that they're looking for, the posters are looking for. If you're not coming up in those skills and it's pulling right from here, and you don't have, let's say, 7 out of the 10 skills, they're probably going to pass you by. Just think about that. So the more skills that you have that are aligning with the jobs you're looking for, the better off you are. And the reason I know that that's true is that when you go to those skills, you can add skills directly from there, which they make it so super simple. You add it right from those job postings. So you need to know the kinds of jobs you're looking for and the skills that they're looking for. And you get 100, they're free, use them, why not? You know, I say use every tool in the tool belt. Why wouldn't you use it?
Good. I'm going to go to Paul next, but before I do so, I just dropped into the chat the URL for Susan's skills section, and I'll let you know, this is another thing I've heard from the algorithm perspective from other LinkedIn trainers and coaches. The more endorsements you have for a skill, the more likely you'll be to come up to the top of search results for that skill. So I'm going to say, if you feel comfortable doing so and you're connected to Susan, go to her skills section right now and click on endorse for a few of her skills. Let's help a fellow job seeker out. Only if you feel comfortable. Some people might say, I don't know if Susan's done recruiting and I don't know how knowledgeable she is, then don't do it. For me, I'm a LinkedIn coach. I'm a big believer in social media karma and helping others and paying it forward. So I'm okay with giving some endorsements out. It doesn't cost you anything, right, to do so. If you feel comfortable, let's all give Susan some endorsements and help her out. We've got 53 people on the call here today, so we could easily give her a little boost in some of those skills with her endorsements. Okay, Paul, did you want to add something or something else about Susan's profile?
I do. Thank you for asking me. Susan, I love the fact that you do have a banner. I would suggest that your banner can do a better job of telling us who you are. And so if you can find a pictorial way of showing that you're an HR specialist, that would be really great because it would give us an immediate visceral understanding of who you are and what you do. The other thing, and for me, what's most important about LinkedIn is not so much my profile, though it's important to have a good profile so that when recruiters do find you, they see what they need to see. But I think it's equally or more important from a networking perspective how you are engaging with LinkedIn. And so when I'm looking at your activity, your posts and your comments, number one, I see you haven't posted in over a year. So you want to be seen as an expert in your field. And one of the ways to do that is maybe once a week, maybe a couple of times a month, create some new content, your own thought around what's going on in the HR field and share that with LinkedIn. So you're getting people to see, oh, wait, Susan's on top of her game. She knows and understands what's going on in her industry, right? The second thing is, whether it's in your posts or your comments, I'm glad to see that you're commenting on a fairly regular basis. That's important. But let's up those comments a little bit more. Find ways to really share some insight and some thought of what you're learning from or what value you're seeing from the people that you're posting on and the things that you're posting about. And you might even want to ask some questions in either your posts or your comments, because when you start asking questions, that forces the person that you're conversing with to have to respond back, right? And now once you're in that conversation, you're starting to build relationship, and it'll be easier not only to connect with that person, but also to set up a networking informational meeting and potentially learn more about job opportunities that they have. But without doing some of that engaging, creating the relationship between you and the people in your network, there's less value from LinkedIn. So I want you to get as much value as possible. Thank you.
That was awesome, Paul. All right, Susan, was this helpful for you today?
Yes. But I have a question with
Yep. Susan, if you don't mind, we've got about 10 minutes left.
Okay.
If you don't mind, I'm
One
going to take
question,
one
one
additional person. If you do have any follow-up questions, would you mind putting those in chat? We want to help you and I don't want to cut you off, but I want to make sure we get to a few more people. Is that okay?
Yes, okay.
Thank you so much. Okay, Brooke, you are up next. Brooke, how can we help you? Are you able to unmute yourself? Or are you looking for a profile
Yes.
review? Let us know. Hey, Brooke.
Hi. Yeah, I'd love a profile review. I did put it in the chat earlier under my introduction chat. I did just recently update it. One of the things that I'm running into is when I actually can get an interview, the phone interviews go great. The first video calls with recruiters go great, but as soon as I talk to a hiring manager, and it seems to very much be, there's a correlation between when they're talking to me on the phone versus when they talk to me over video. I will frequently, I fall out at that point. And
okay, Brooke, are you the first one, the experienced insurance professional in my search results on screen right now?
No.
Where are you located at, Brooke?
I'm in the Seattle area.
Oh, that's right. You were outside and you are inside now.
Yeah, my chair was getting wet.
Are we connected yet? We're not connected yet.
No, I don't think we're connected yet.
Brooke
and actually,
Wilson,
it probably will show up as Sarah Reed.
Okay, let me just go back to the homepage. Okay, give me just 1 second. SARAREED.
Yeah.
Seattle. There it is. That's my little hack on this too. If you're trying to find someone quickly, type in first name, last name, and then like a keyword of their location or a company that they work for. So if she'd work for a GM, I would put in Sarah Reed, General Motors, and usually I can find it from here. Is it Sarah Reed, Head in the Cloud, seasoned leader?
Second one.
Second one. Thank you so much for that. Okay, so I want to repeat the question back. You said you're getting some interviews and you're feeling like you're getting screened out before moving on. Is that a correct assessment? You're looking for some feedback?
Yeah, I mean, I'm making it for many roles. I've made it to the last round, and
okay.
I'm coming in second or something like that.
Okay.
And did anyone else have this issue? I had a different, like that is not the background picture that I put on LinkedIn.
Okay, so if you did upload a different background, it looks like it didn't save. So from
No,
your
I mean,
view,
it
are you
has been
seeing,
different.
yeah. Yeah, from
It
your
has been
view, are you
different
seeing
for
this? Sarah, are
years.
you seeing this from your view, or do your views show something different?
I'll have to check.
Okay,
Hold on.
so a couple things when
Keep
I'm
going.
asking that question, I'm trying to troubleshoot. If from your view, you're seeing something different, it's possible you might have a second account. And what I'm seeing
Oh,
is different than what you're seeing. Like what we are seeing should be consistent. The header should be the same as what you're seeing from your view. Now, if you're seeing this old header and you're saying, no, I uploaded it and it didn't say, it's not showing on there, it probably was a LinkedIn hiccup. It's not you, Sarah Brooke. Do you go by Sarah or Brooke, by the way? I'm sorry.
I go by Brooke.
Okay. It's not you, Brooke, it's LinkedIn. Like LinkedIn will sometimes
Yeah.
have technical hiccups and things that happen. So there's a good chance when you uploaded it, it could have been that the file size was too large or LinkedIn was just having a bad
Yeah.
day and it didn't save it. So you'll need to re-upload it again and then click on save, refresh
That-
your page and you should see it.
Yeah, that's not the
and it should
problem I'm
reflect.
having. It was,
Okay.
I didn't change it, and it has been different for a decade.
So are you
And
seeing, when you go to your profile right now, are you
this
seeing
is,
the same header we're seeing on screen?
yes, this is what I see.
Okay,
And I
so,
didn't change it, so I don't know why it's different. I'll change it back. But I
okay.
just was wondering if I was the only person who LinkedIn has been changing things on.
LinkedIn should not be changing it. And I'm going to pull up my profile right now to show you because there might be people on the call who don't have a header graphic in place. Or maybe you've used one of the templates from LinkedIn, or maybe you don't even know how to get to that template from LinkedIn. So if you click on the little, it'll say, it'll be a camera icon if you don't have anything right now. If you already have one, it has a pencil icon like I just had. And then you scroll to the bottom. If you're new to uploading, it'll say upload photo, or if you already have one, you want to change it, you click on change photo, and then you can either upload your own photo. It should be ideally 1584 by 396. Those are the ideal dimensions. If it's narrower than that, it's going to stretch and elongate it, and it looks a little lower quality from a graphics perspective. So try to get it the ideal size. By the way, for creating your graphic, you can use a program called canva.com, canva.com. You go into Canva, they've actually got LinkedIn header templates, and you can use one of their pretty ones, change the font, put some different keywords in there, export it as a PNG and upload it into here. Alternatively, you can see LinkedIn has a custom, they call it custom. It's really a stock image library. It's not really custom, but you see that the one that that Brooke has right now is this juggling work and family. So it's entirely possible, Brooke, you might have been poking around in here and accidentally clicked on it without realizing it, accidentally clicked on save. If you're saying, nope, I didn't do that, I'm going to say a LinkedIn hiccup happened at some point. You need to get your other graphic in there. But for everyone else on the call, if you don't have a graphic, these are okay for placeholders. You can go through here. As we scroll down, you'll see that there are some that are generic and some that are cause-based. Equity, inclusion, Latino voices, I think they've got some Black Lives Matter. There's some other things in there. So Stand for Justice. There's some other ones in here, LGBTQ, things like that. So if you want, you can use one of their stock image, not custom images until you get some of your own. You can go to canva.com using the free basic version, find an image from there, or you can upload a custom image on your own. My preference is that you as a job seeker are using something that is intentional and supports your job search. So I'd rather see you using, let's say for you, Brooke, a Seattle city skyline with maybe a headline on it that reads, your next program manager. I'm just making this up, for example, or a program manager focused on growth and efficiency. So something that's kind of like advertising you as a candidate. It is okay to be promotional in your header image because you want a job. It's okay to be like telling people when they land on your profile what it is that you're looking for. Now, I do want to, maybe in the last 5 minutes here, I want to ask my all-stars for any advice that we can give to Brooke on, it's kind of like the always a bridesmaid, never a bride. She's getting the interview, but she's not moving on to consideration. Now, what I've heard with this is if you're never getting any interviews, it might be a mismatch with your resume and the job posting. If you're getting first round interviews that are not going on to the second, it could be brushing up on interviewing skills. So I would advise you, Brooke, if you have attended any colleges or universities, go to their career services department and ask, do you offer mock interviews? And you might say, Brenda, I know how to interview. And I'm going to say, that's okay, Brooke. ask for it anyways. Ask them if they can give you some candid feedback on your interviewing. We can't see our blind spots. They might say things like, Brooke, you play with your hair a lot. And you might do that as a nervous thing and you don't even know you're doing it. And someone will tell you those things. Okay. That's my advice. I'm going to see if Joey and Mindy want to add anything onto that. And then we'll move to reps. We're probably going to go maybe about 5 or 10 minutes over here today, but Joey, go ahead and take us first, and then we'll go to Mindy.
Yeah, you stole my thunder, Brenda, because I wanted not only the mock interview is important. You know, earlier in this conversation, you had asked Scott if he'd ever considered working for himself, and I couldn't help but notice his nonverbal reaction to your question. So, Scott, when you have a moment when we're done, you should go back and watch the video and see how you reacted to Brenda asking you that question. And to Brenda's point, there are so many things that we do nonverbally that speak volumes. And so when you don't know what you're doing, it could affect you. It could hurt you. So if you're going to do a mock interview, that's fine, but make sure you record it at a minimum audio, definitely video, so you can see yourself in an interview and watch how you react to questions and how you behave, because there's going to be a lot of gold in that information.
Thank you so much, Joey. Okay, Mindy, anything to add? And sorry for stealing the thunder, by the way, Joey. And for that individual, he might not want to be self-employed too. So I don't want you to feel I put him on the spot by saying, have you ever considered that? But I totally get where you're going there, Joey.
But it's a great nonverbal that he exhibited that I think for everybody, it's important to pay attention to what you're not doing, what you're not saying in the interview.
Yeah, point taken. All right, Mindy, advice for Brooke.
Okay, so Brooke, and for anyone listening, interviewing is like learning how to ride a bicycle. You can read about it, you can watch videos, you can talk to your friends about it, you can write down everything you want to say, you can do all that stuff. But until you actually put your foot on the pedals of that bike, you will never understand what it feels like to balance yourself. And so when you're doing a mock interview, you need to have another human being who's interviewing with you, not a robot, because there's a lot of robots out there that can help you. You need to feel that nervous energy. You need to be able to react. You need to be able to build on that nervous energy so that you are your best self and presenting your best self. And as Joey was just talking about, you may have some unknown things that are going on with you that you're visually sharing with your interviewer that you will not know unless you have an objective person who is looking at you and will have honest feedback for you. You need to have someone who will do a mock interview with you, and probably several, just so you know, because you might get feedback that you are completely unaware of. And I'm happy to share that with you, do that with you, whatever you like, but that's really where the rubber meets the road. And think of it like just like riding a bike. You cannot learn how to ride a bike. You cannot learn how to interview unless you're actually doing it with a human being. That's my point of view.
I did see one thing. Somebody said, I'm sorry, I can't remember who it was, but they said, you know, since I use Brooke, I should have my LinkedIn profile be Brooke Reed. The problem is, and here's a question, I had to change it because when I verified my identity, legally, my name is Sarah Reed. Legally, Brooke is not in my, once I got married, I dropped it from my legal name. So that is why it says Sarah. And actually my resume says Sarah Brooke Reed. So people are not completely confused by that.
I'm wondering if you do the same thing. I'm going to jump in here, Brooke. I'm sorry. I'm wondering if you do the same thing on your LinkedIn profile. If you go to your top header graphic, click on the gray pencil icon, first name, last name, and then in parentheses, just type in, you know, what you go by. And that'll put like Sarah Meller. It'll put it like in parentheses. And I think that will work even with identity verification. Does anyone else on that? Did you try that already?
I tried that. And when they say if you change your name in any way, you have to go through identity verification again. And since it's not in my legal name, it won't work. So
so I'm going to give you some advice here, Brooke, and I'm looking at your profile before I give you this advice. I see that you've got 808 followers. I'm just doing a once over on your profile. You don't look like a fake person to me.
Good.
you're not linked to a current employer. I'm guessing Woodinville Creative District, do they not have a company page on LinkedIn?
Yeah, I'm doing 2 fractional director roles right now. Neither one of them have LinkedIn
Company page.
pages.
Okay, are you a member of any professional organizations? Do you volunteer for any organizations? Do you serve on boards where they have a company page?
ASME. Well,
Okay.
no, that one's ended, but I can check to see if
You know what? I'm going to say we're going to take some liberties on that. Member ASME, I've had people that have been in career transition that have been members of organizations, and due to budget or other reasons, they let it lapse. They're planning on going back and becoming a member again someday. The member organization is not going to reach out to you and say, Brooke, you need to take that off on your profile because you're lying. They're not going to care. Like, put it on there temporarily as an experience, because having a current employer, again, to our point earlier, helps you to come up in more searches on LinkedIn. It also helps with making sure that you look like you're a real person when you're linked to a page, even if it's just a member of ASME. And I'm just looking through, I'm not seeing anything that makes me go, is Brooke a real person or not? So I'm going to go back to this identity verification, and I'm going to let you know this is a tool that is used by LinkedIn to help its members. And I'm using air quotes to help its members. And LinkedIn will say, people that are verified will come up in, I don't know if anyone knows the percentage, like 40% more searches or 17%. They give you some random non-rounded number, which makes it sound real. And they created it because there are a lot of fake accounts and spam accounts and bots and people that aren't real, and AI generated pictures of people. And when we see that badge, we get that warm, fuzzy feeling. If somebody invites you to connect and they have that badge, you're like, okay, she's a real person. She has her identity verified. Now, in your case, LinkedIn created a big old speed bump for you because they're not allowing you to put Brooke Reed because it doesn't match your official legal documents that are in there. And I would say, I would probably remove identity verification, use your real name, because you know what just happened? When I was looking you up, Brooke, other people are doing the same thing. They're looking up Brooke Reed and they cannot find you. And I don't want you to be penalized by people that are legitimately searching for you and they cannot find you because it says Sarah Reed, or they find you and they're like, well, her name's not Brooke, it's Sarah. She lied to me, and I didn't want to bring it up because sometimes people change their names for protection, purposes or personal reasons and things like that. But now that you've kind of tell us, it's just something I go by legally. I would say remove the identity verification. You look real, you look legitimate. I'm not worried about it. And that way, people that are searching for you can help to find you. Does that help?
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Brooke, for asking and for being a part of the call here. As I start to wrap us up for today, first, I want to remind all of you that we do have a private unlisted group on LinkedIn. I'm going to drop the link inside chat again in case you missed it earlier, so you can find it really easily. It's private and unlisted. What that means, private means it does not show on your profile. So if there's anyone that's on the call with us today that is working but looking, meaning you're working a full-time job, but you're starting to look for a new position, you don't want your employer to know, this group will not appear anywhere publicly on your profile. It is unlisted, meaning you cannot find the link unless I give you the link, okay? So you're only getting the link because you're a part of today's call here. And when you join the page, from your view, you'll see a request to join button. It's kind of like it's our private clubhouse here. And you're going to knock on the door. I'm going to look through the little peephole and I'm going to go, okay, it's Jen. I remember her from the call today. And then I get these requests to join as the page admin. I'll give your name a quick once over and I'm like, yep, I recognize Tom. Austin, I'm guessing, is on the call here. I see his profile says open to work. Ray looks like she's a legitimate person too. So I vet you guys before, you guys and ladies, I should say, before admitting you inside the group. And I will keep out the people that swarm on job seekers out of our group. I do that to help you all out. So if I see somebody from Primerica, for example, I'm sorry, no offense to any of you who've worked for Primerica, but I feel like they're very, they prey on people who are in vulnerable situations. If I see a Primerica person, they will not be admitted inside the group. If I see somebody who specializes in financial planning, and no offense to the people that specialize in financial planning, I work with a financial planner. There are some really great people. There are people that prey on us as job seekers, so I will not admit them inside the group. And this group should be a resource for all of you. Oh, so sorry, Wendy. She said 13 hours ago. Oh, somebody did. Thank you, Eileen. So this is the other thing that happens in the group. We all help each other out. The analogy I like to use here is, remember in school when we used to say, we're going to do a fire drill. I'm going to use a fire drill because that's a lot more pleasant than the other drills they're doing. Excuse me. And they would do a fire drill inside the school, and then they would send you home with a little sheet of paper. You should do a fire drill at home with your family. And one of the things on that piece of paper was figure out a meeting place outside of the house. So if there's a fire in the middle of the night, you all figure out, we're going to meet at the tree down the street or the flagpole down the street. The group is our flagpole down the street. So if you can't get into the call, go into here just like Wendy did and say, hey, I need the link, and somebody else will help you from the group in there. Also, you can share job search resources here inside the group, just like Diana did in here. Top 10 essential oils for stress relief. Hey, we all need that, right? You can share those in there. If you see open positions like I do, I will share those inside the group because a lot of times we don't see them in our LinkedIn homepage feed. So you can help others by sharing those jobs in there. A lot of times when I am sharing roles in here, I have connections with the company. So if you see a position that I'm sharing in here, reach out and let me know, apply to it, but reach out, let me know I'm interested in that functional analyst at Genetech. I will make an introduction to you for that company, okay? And feel free if you have information you'd like to share it in the group. It's not just for me, it's for all of us. It's our group that we share, just like Kathy did. You can share resources, you can share other LinkedIn events, you can share upcoming things that are happening that are relevant to job seekers. Relevant to job seekers, that's the important thing. If it's not relevant to job seekers, I'll probably message you as a reminder and I will delete your post, okay? I wanna keep this helpful, and I want to keep this group active. So do make sure that you are checking out and that you are joining that group. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is, as we are wrapping up here today, I'm going to stop the screen share. I'm going to pull us back up to gallery mode so I can see all of your lovely faces. And I want to, first of all, thank all of you for being on the phone call with us here today. I'm going to angle my camera a little bit. We're actually doing a live in-person event. For those of you who joined late, we're doing a live in-person event here in Troy, Michigan, at a place called Office Evolution. Let me spotlight this for everyone. I'm going to try to do the other camera too. Christopher, if you can find it, can you spotlight the other one so I can put those side by side? I think it's still on. Or you know what? Can I only do one at a time?
It's done.
But it's both of them aren't on screen. This, I think it's joining as me twice. Oh, here it is. Okay, and then can we spotlight the other one? Is it from your view? Okay, there it goes. It took a second. My laptop was still reading. So look at this. This is Jen over here. Jen, can you unmute and introduce yourself to the group? Tell us your name, targeted job title, and targeted geographic area.
I'm going to speak really loudly because my microphone is not
Oh, here,
working
let me pass my microphone over to you. There you go. Can you hear Jen? Go ahead.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jen Landers. I am a career coach based here in Metro Detroit and connected with Brenda through some mutual friends a number of years ago. I also work locally for a nonprofit. I've been lucky enough to kind of cobble together a lot of my loves to create a world and a job that I love. So I participate in these calls to offer help, offer skills. I was actually just interviewed for a article that was just shared on LinkedIn. So I will share that in the group following our call about interviewing and using CAR and STAR statements to really highlight your skills during an interview. I know some people asked interview questions earlier. But I'm happy to connect with anybody. I know I connected with a couple of you elsewhere in the world. I personally work with clients all over the country. So I'm happy to connect and nice to meet you all.
You're wonderful. Let me grab my microphone back. Sorry for reaching over. If I had known that, I kind of forgot when I walked in the room, I would have voluntold and made you one of our all-stars for today, and you could have helped us out with all those things. So thank you so much.
I was nodding along as everybody was
chiming
in.
Okay,
good advice was shared.
And you all met Christopher here in the room. Wave to the camera, Christopher. There we go. So you all are there. And this is such a lovely space. I'm just going to pan around the room so you can see. I think this is like, what, 16 chairs around here? It's a boardroom table. Colleen from Office Evolution, I met her at a Troy Chamber event. And this is, you know, I turn around, this is the screen that you're all looking at inside here. and they've got Wi-Fi, free coffee, water, all that other good stuff in the room here. And I met her at a Troy Chamber event. It was actually probably about a year ago. And she said, you can borrow our space sometime. We're looking to showcase this. So if you're in the Troy, Michigan area, they offer office rentals. Could you do me a favor and see if she's outside? Could you see if Colleen, because I wanted Colleen to come in as a thank you to her for allowing me to use the space for free today. I wanted to give her the opportunity to say hi and talk a little bit about the facility. What I know is you can rent an office on an ongoing basis. You can do, I believe, co-working. You can come and do like a pop-in type of a thing. You can rent these rooms. So this is like a conference room that we're in if you need to use like a larger space for a presentation, things like that. They also have P.O. boxes. So if you are thinking about starting your own business and you don't want people to know your home address, you can get a P.O. office. I believe they offer phone service as well. So if you want to use a phone number directing people, and they can serve as your receptionist, so to speak, all that kind of stuff on there. I just explained a little bit. I said office rental. Colleen's coming in the room right now. I'm going to have you come behind me over here so we can see you on camera. This is Colleen.
I also brought Christina with
Good.
me.
So I told a little bit about the services, and as a thank you to you, I just want to give you the chance to tell a little bit about Office Evolution to our job seekers.
Again, happy birthday. And thank you so much for having your event here. We really
you.
appreciate it. It's always lovely to see you.
You
I feel
too.
like I haven't seen you in a minute.
I know, right?
We've been busy. It's been a busy summer.
Yeah.
So Office Evolution, we are a co-working space. We're located at I-75 in West Big Beaver in the heart of downtown Troy, Michigan, if there's a downtown. And I mean, it's Michigan. We're in the suburbs. So we have private offices, conference rooms. So we're currently in our large conference room right now. It holds 16 people. We have mail services, we have phone services, we have private offices. So we really like working with small business owners specifically.
Yeah.
We really like helping them grow. We're kind of a mini incubator. So the average length of stay of anyone at our space is about 2 years, because we're starting them with a $35 a month mail plan, and then they're growing into a small office, and then a bigger office, and then a couple offices for their team, and then they eventually leave and have a big space.
They fly off the nest.
Yes, they're
right?
leaving the nest.
Yeah.
So yeah, we love meeting new business owners. We love incubating them. We love, I always like to say my job is to make your business shine.
Yes.
That's my business. And so yeah, we just.
So you're on LinkedIn.
Yes, I'm on LinkedIn.
So Colleen, and what's your last name?
Buddy, Budde.
Okay, so I will drop, if somebody wants to look up Colleen Budde on LinkedIn and drop the URL into the chat, I've got a lot of helpers and I'm sure they can do so. Yeah. I'll make sure I put you on the playback for the YouTube channel, and I'll give you the video clip if you want to clip this out and use it for she's really active on, I don't know, you're doing the social media?
Yes, we do Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. But yeah, it's mostly 98% me.
Or is it you that does the charcuterie?
It's me.
She does like the charcuterie, she does like a time lapse kind of thing. It's really fun to watch. And I just want to
mesmerizing.
Yeah, it is. And I just want to thank you so much for donating to the space for us today. And I'll ask my community, if you know of anyone looking for office rental space in the Troy, Michigan area, please, as a thank you to me, as a birthday present to me, refer them to Office Evolution, and make sure you tell them that Brenda sent you. I'm not getting anything from that. I want Colleen to know where the business leads are.
Thank you.
From.
And then it doesn't have to be long term. It can be as little as an hour, as long as 12 months.
So. Okay, wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Did you want to introduce your team member?
Yes, this is Christina Sheer. She's a business coach, also fractional. Yeah.
Want to come and sit and say hi? Thank you. It was yesterday, but I made it today because I work from home and I wanted to celebrate with everyone virtually here on the park.
Well, I'm bummed that I didn't bring a crown with me and hot pink, because that's like my favorite color. I'm almost always in hot pink, but not today.
That's so funny. Yeah. What is your name again?
So my name is Christina Sheer, and I'm a fractional CMO. My company is called Sheer Wisdom.
Are you a client?
I'm not like I do have perfect example of what Colleen said. I'm starting at like the virtual mailbox level.
Yeah. Okay.
And then probably about 6 months from now, I'll move in is our goal. We were just talking about that today.
Are you helping her out, or she just brought you in there?
We're having a one-on-one consultation today.
Look at that. So
we're giving her the VIP treatment and talking to her about her vision and things for her own personal brand.
So spell out your first and last name if you could.
Sure. Christina, and then SHEER.
Okay, and VIPs, you know what to do. Somebody grab her URL and put it inside chat so that you can all connect with her and refer business to her. So thank you so much.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
so great.
You. All right, I'll let you get back to your meeting. Okay.
Thank you. Have an awesome one.
Thank you.
Birthday girl right here. Give her all the love. Drop all the emojis in the chat. You got to do that.
Thank you, ladies. Have a great day. All right, so we went a little long, but hey, sometimes parties go a little longer as you're having them. I wrote little post-it note reminders and things that I wanted to share with you. So the blog Open to Work, I didn't get a chance to find it, but I will put it inside the private unlisted group for those of you who want to add that Open to Work in your profile. I'll put it in that LinkedIn group, so look for it from there. We talked about the LinkedIn group. I put a link to my services in the chat as well. I want to let you all know I've been doing this and volunteering my time to help the job seeker community, and I will continue to do so on the first Friday of every month. I do want to share, I've had a couple success stories of people that have returned to work and then told their employer, hey, I know this really great LinkedIn coach. We should have her come out and train our team. Like you can do that too. So I want everyone to think about when you're back to work, what I do is I help teams with social selling on LinkedIn. So I train your team on how to use LinkedIn for brand visibility, for business development, to act as an extension of your marketing department. That's what I do. So do keep that in mind. I also offer one-to-one coaching services. You can book a power hour with me. You can work with me on an ongoing basis. And I also do have some online programs, including one called Bootcamp with Brenda, which is an online course. I have a couple of my Bootcamp members that are on the call here today. If any of you would like to identify yourself and tell people how fabulous the Bootcamp program is, I would love that. Because my goal is to stay self-employed. But when you are self-employed, you don't get a paycheck unless you get paid, unless you have clients. So I'm not shy to say, hey, on my birthday, send referrals to me. If you hear anyone who's looking for help with LinkedIn coaching, with team training, or if you're interested in signing up for my programs, do let me know. With that said, I want to send you all out into the world. Hopefully you are leaving today with inspiration. You've enjoyed the time that you've spent here. You're feeling like, gosh, this was time well spent. You've got a smile on your face. And I want you to know that this is temporary. The black hole of job search can be very debilitating, right? And I hope that this has given you a moment of joy here today and that you're leaving feeling that there are others out there who are supporting you. Do be sure to download the chat before you leave. When you go into the chat area, click on the three dots at the top and click on Save Chat. It will save it into the downloads folder. If someone would be so kind as to save the chat and then you can convert it to a PDF and just upload it to the LinkedIn group, that would be great. If I remember, I'll do it myself later, but if someone else wants to do that, feel free to do so. And if you do hear of anyone who is in career transition, in between successes, unemployed, laid off, devastated, needing help, if you see them posting about it, tag me in on the post. Just say, hey, at Brenda Meller may have some resources for you. She can help you. That's kind of like you're winking to me, and I'll wink back, and I'll go into the comments and I'll say, thank you for tagging me in, Joyce. Tom, here's the link to our Friday VIP job seeker office hours. We meet on the first Friday every month, I should say, from 10 to, I'll give them the link to join. Okay, so you can be the change that you want to see in the world. You can help to pay it forward. You can help others in there and let them know that they are not alone. As we are signing off here today, I want to thank all of the All-Stars for helping. I want to thank our VIP tech support here in the room, Christopher Johnson, for helping with all of the navigation here today, and all the other All-Stars for helping. And thank you to Joey, Kenneth, Linda, Paul, David B., Debbie, Eileen, Elena, Esmeralda, Jen, Joyce, Katie, Lisa, Melissa, Mike, Miss G, Nancy, Dr. Anyoko, Ray, whoops, I think I skipped one, Scott, Simone, Sophie, Sophie 2, Stacy, Susan, Tamara, Tammy, Tom, and Vic the Pie Man. Go on out there and make it a wonderful day, my friends. Thank you so much for joining. I'm going to stop the recording. I'll leave the Zoom open for just a few more minutes, but I am going to mute myself and take myself off of video here. Okay. Have a great day, and I look forward to seeing you next month. Take care, everyone. Thank you.
Hasta la
Happy
vista,
birthday.
baby.
Bye,
Ciao.
everybody.
Happy birthday, Brenda.
Arrivederci.
Thank you all. Thank you for the birthday wishes too.
Hey, birthday, Brenda.
Adios. Auf Wiedersehen. Ciao. Hasta la vista, baby. Great call, Brenda. Good job.
Really keeps us going here.
Sayonara. Shalom.
Everything is like really slow. I mean,
Hi, Nancy.